CashKaro. How did it start? What's it all about? You know, you've also managed to impress some big investors like Ratan Tata.
Yeah, it's been great. We've had some real support on this journey. So we've been married for almost 10 years and been good so far, married and running a startup. So CashKaro, as you know, is a cashback site. Our business model is that we work with e-commerce players across India, over 1,000 sites, everyone from Amazon, Flipkart to vertical players like a Big Basket, Swiggy, Pepperfry, Make My Trip, and we drive sales to them. For this, we get paid commission. And from that, we actually pass cash back to our customers. So let's say if you wanted to shop on Amazon, rather than going directly, if you go via CashKaro, you now get about 5-10% cash back. And this can be paid to your bank account, or you can get it as Amazon or Flipkart gift cards. So it's a really cool way to save money on all online shopping. And Ron is the one who actually came up with this idea. So maybe we should ask him how he came up with that.
So, you know, the idea of cash...
Is it because she shopped a lot and you were looking at ideas?
That too. So, you know, just so you know, she has over a lakh of cash back. Now, given that we pass anywhere between 5 to 10%, just gives you a sense of how much she shops.
You didn't need to talk about it so much.
But the idea or the genesis of this was, so when Swati and I were back in London, you know, we started using a cashback site, and we just fell in love with the idea. And, you know, it was so simple as an idea that you shop and now you're going to get something back. And then we sort of translated that idea to the Indian context. We just knew it's going to do well, right? Indians love to save, sort of part of the DNA, right? And then when we also looked around, we just saw that there was every large e-commerce economy had a $1 billion cashback business. So we also knew that this idea is meaningfully scalable. So that's what, you know, drove us to, you know, setting up CashKaro.
And, you know, we were living in London. We were there for 11 years and we never thought that we would come back so soon. But seeing the growth of Indian e-commerce, especially when you're sitting outside, the growth is just so exciting. It's a really good time to have come back. And our business is a way of participating in that e-commerce growth.
Okay, so you know, when you're talking about all these e-commerce companies, the point is a lot of these e-commerce companies also have ambitions now for fintech, and they've already started unveiling that. So if you're going to have Amazon, who you have a tie-up with, also announce its own cashback, Paytm has done it. The question I'm trying to get at is that why will a consumer then continue to come to you? How real is the fear that one day CashKaro's model could be made redundant by the big guns themselves?
So, you know, the best part about CashKaro's cashback is that it's on top of all cashback, right? So as you said, you know, let's say if Amazon has a cashback that they're running because someone's using the Amazon Pay wallet, our cashback of 5 to 10% is going to be on top of that. Now, the reason that happens is that because we're a marketing partner or a marketing channel to all our partners like Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, etc. So they pay us for sales that we drive to them, right? So we're a performance channel for them. So they pay us for every transaction that we drive to them. And it's from that commission that we're getting, we pass some part of that back to them as cashback. So we're in some sense competing with, you know, the likes of Google or Facebook as a paid acquisition or a paid sales channel. So that's where we come in. So our cashback is always going to be on top of the bank discount, the wallet discount, and whatever other discount that exists, our cashback sits on top.
See, because we're not a payment mechanism. So when you go via CashKaro, you can actually pay via cash on delivery. You can use Amazon Pay or any other wallet for that matter, and you still get the cashback from us. So you can get both.
So then, Swati, how do you make money if you're going to be giving these discounts on top of the global giants that you're talking about, on top of the big domestic giants that you're talking about? How do you make money?
So, well, that's interesting, and we do actually make money on every single transaction. And even after, I mean, our GMV has actually grown over 400% in the last 6 months, and we've been profitable every single month in that. And that's possible because what we do is that typically we pass 70% of the commission that we earn as cashback to customers, and the 30% is what we keep as our profit. So why, you know, Amazon and all the different retailers who work with us is because the cost of acquiring a transaction for them via CashKaro is actually much cheaper compared to other channels. And that's why they continue investing in it. That's why globally there are cashback sites in US, in China, in Europe, UK. They've been around for 10, 20 years, all very sizable IPO stage businesses. And they're all doing really well because the retailers have continued to work with them all these years.
So, do you want to also tell us how you guys divide your responsibilities? What is Rohan in charge of and what is Swati in charge of?
He is in charge of everything, but I will still let him
So I
answer that one.
I guess technology, product are more my domains. Everything that's on the investor side, social, that's Swati.
PR, branding, summer marketing, partnerships we both share.
And then there are lots of bits of marketing that we
Yeah.
sort of divide based on our strengths and what we can do better.
Okay, so, it's evolved over time. They figured out who's in charge of what, and as you can see, they have very good chemistry as well. The other thing I want to ask was, Swati, you're in charge of leading the conversation with investors. I'm guessing to pitch to them as well. You have Kalaari Capital on board, and you have also managed to impress Ratan Tata. How did that happen?
So, after we got Kalaari on board, my first request to Vani and Rajesh was that can you get us a meeting with Mr. Tata? And they arranged it. We went to the Taj in Bombay, long boardroom table. He's sitting and having his lunch, and we sat opposite him. And they were like, here, you can start presenting. And we were like, if we go and present there and he's having his lunch, there's going to be no real chemistry between us. We won't have any relationship in these 15 minutes, and there's no way he's going to invest. So I said, do you mind, sir, if we don't use the deck and I just sit across from you and we have a conversation? And I started off telling him that my 95-year-old grandfather will be really proud that I'm here with you today because he at one point used to work for the Tatas. And that just, broke the ice, and Mr. Tata was laughing and he was like, oh, you guys are good entrepreneurs because you're already telling us, a relation. And I told him that's why we need to take a photo with you because I need to show him. So it was good, and, we had a good conversation. He was very engaged. And at the end of it, I asked him, so what do you think of our business? And he said, in a country that loves to save, you give free money. What's there not to love? And we've kind of stuck by that since then, because that pretty much is what CashKaro is.
And that's also been the investment thesis, right? That we bargain, we do everything all along the way to save that extra rupee, right? So in a world that we're giving you free money, why wouldn't you do it?
Okay, in a world that you're giving free money, why wouldn't you take it? But the question also is, and you've tried to explain me your model about the commission model and all of that. But this is a big fear that also comes in with cashback and all of this, that it's as good as it till it lasts. That means till you're funded. And once that is over, then what? Is it just a cash guzzling business?
So I'll take that. So let's maybe start by looking at what's happening around the world, right? So there are cashback sites that are now maybe 15, 16 years old, right? Which are now billion-dollar businesses that are extremely profitable, right? So the largest business in the US now makes $600 million net. Now, the reason they're able to do that is every business, and that same model even holds in India, is willing to pass a share of their gross margin to someone who can bring a sale to them. And that is exactly where we fit in. So today, let's say if Amazon is making 15% margin on fashion, they're happy to pay us 10% and say that, look, if you are able to drive that transaction at 10%, I'm happy to pay you that, right? So it's sustainable for Amazon. We get 10%. From that 10%, let's say we pass 7% to the customer's benefiting, Amazon's benefiting because we're performance channel driving them transactions. So everyone wins, right? And this is why it is not a business that is dependent on funding or a long-term cycle where, as long as, the investors are pushing money, the business will survive. So, which is why, we're excited about this because it's something that fundamentally makes sense. The unit economics make sense. So, right from the day we started, we've made money on every single transaction.
So do you have a vision, like where will CashKaro be 5 years from now? Swati, you want to take that one?
Yeah, although he's the visionary between us, so...
No, you take that.
Okay. So I, see, for me, CashKaro has to be like the Ebates of US and Fanly of China. There are other things that we're doing, which we can do more and they can grow as well. But I think fundamentally what we believe is that every large e-commerce economy in the world has a $1 billion cashback site, and CashKaro is going to be that $1 billion cashback site for India. That vision is very clear, and we think that the market has so much depth, especially with the next 100 million shoppers coming online from tier 2 to tier 5 cities. There is just so much more that we can do here. And I think the path for just making sure that everybody is getting the best deal possible on their online purchase is very clear and very scalable for us.
But Rohan, what's also a buzzword these days is hyper-localism. So, you've got ties with some of the biggest e-commerce giants, but then you've also got, let's say, the Dunzos of the world, the Meeshos of the world, and all of that. Will CashKaro feature in as far as hyper-localism goes?
We've actually launched a product called EarnKaro, which is India's first deal commerce website. And effectively what we're doing with EarnKaro is our way of going hyper-local, going down to people's homes and allowing and giving them a mechanism to leverage online as a way to earn money. So, so that is our way of going hyper-local. So the idea with EarnKaro is that, let's say if I have a great deal that I see on Amazon, I can now share that deal on WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, and other social channels. And when someone clicks on the link, they directly go to Amazon, and any transaction that happens, the profit from that comes back to the person who's sharing the link. So that is our way of going hyperlocal. Going to the tier 2, tier 3, tier 4s, and giving them a mechanism of creating another revenue stream. Obviously, in terms of the partners, while we today work with the top tier, we also work with all the smaller e-commerce companies. It could be a little shop or a little e-commerce site that's selling, let's say, savories from a specific region. We work with them. We work with the new fashion websites. Those sites are areas where we can drive a lot of value, right? Because they have a limited amount of money. But even with that, we're able to drive meaningful impact to them. So it's not just CashKaro is not just a platform for the big boys. It's across the board. So we've got about 1,500 partners with us right now.
1,500 partners between CashKaro and I'm guessing EarnKaro. Now, Swati, you told us this great story of how you did a little bit of Jugadu Panti, used your grandfather, managed to impress Ratan Tata. But Kalaari Capital did play a big role in helping you get that. How did you pitch to Kalaari? How did Vanikola or Kalaari get impressed by you in the first go? How did you get that meeting and what did you pitch?
I think that meeting, initially we got in touch with Ashish, who used to be there. I ran into him at a conference many years ago. It's one of those things, that you reach out to someone and actually one of their partners, Sumit, was in town. We met him, had a good meeting. They were like, look, we like it. I think what I've seen with investors and not particularly only with Kalaari is that, if it's a business that has good unit economics, it's in a market that can scale. There are examples of global precedents, there are global precedents outside who've done billion-dollar businesses. There are IPO exits, there are large buyouts as well. And of course, there has to be a good team that the investor likes. And I think we managed to tick all these boxes for Kalaari.
Okay, so that's how Kalaari came on board. I guess persistence always pays off. I guess both of you are an example of that. We're running out of time. I'm going to make this my final question. We are talking at a time when you are seeing food aggregators, food technology apps at war with restaurateurs, restaurateurs saying the consumers have become addicts. They're addicted to discounts and we need to detox and create this environment to detox. Rohan, your entire business also hinges on these addicted consumers looking for discounts. Is it a bad thing?
The way we see it is, can we drive value back to the retailer, right? Because if you think about it, it's the restaurants that are revolting, right? And they're revolting because they're not seeing certain value being driven. With our partners, they're in fact talking to us regularly and pushing us to do more. So an Amazon would come to us saying that, look, you did X in August, can you do 2X in the next month, right? And we're able to do that because at their end, they're able to see that the more value CashKaro can drive to them, the better it is for their unit economics. So I think it really comes down to, are you able to prove to retailers that you continue to drive real ROI to them compared to any other paid channel that they're using today? So I think that's that's been our thesis right from the start, that we have to drive value, and that's what makes it long term.
With that, I'd like to thank both Rohan and Swati for taking time out, join us here on Startup Central with your vision and, of course, good tips on what works with consumers as well. And we look forward to many more interviews with both of you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Lovely being here.